I'm in love with desperate men with desperate hands, walking in second-hand shoes, searching for God and hearing God and hating God. I'm a desperate man buckled with fear. I'm a desperate man who demands to be listened to, who demands to connect. I'm a desperate man who denounces the dullness of money and status. I'm a desperate man who will not bow down to accolade or success. I am a desperate man who loves the simplicity of painting and hates galleries and white walls and the dealers in art, who loves unreasonableness and hot-headedness, who loves contradiction, hates publishing houses, and also I am Vincent van Gogh, Hiroshige, and every living, breathing artist who dares to draw God on this planet.
Billy Childish has released over 100 albums and been in half a dozen bands. His current lineup is the Buff Medways. He's executed over 1,500 paintings and published more than 30 collections of poetry via Hangman Books, his own press. He's turning his autobiographical novel My Fault into a screenplay for the celebrated American filmmaker Larry Clark. Billy was born in 1959 in Chatham, Kent, and still lives there, just about making a living. For 25 years he's been going to the same hairdressers, Under the Bogs as it's known locally.
I mean, I paint on Sundays, so it's a good joke, I suppose, especially since it's a true joke. But that's what I do. I paint on Sundays at my mum's in Whitstable. Quick escape. Yay. My mum's lived here for about 12 years or so, and we always used to come in when we were kids. I used to paint for 4 or 5 weeks solid every summer, up until my early 20s. And then I had to change that, and I worked out I'd paint every week. And I had to go somewhere to paint, because I've got to go somewhere else. So I come here and paint on 1 day a week. I go to work, if you like. Sometimes I come back and she's cleared all the stuff off and moved everything about, because this is my mum's front room, you know, front bedroom. A lot of my painting is just keeping my hand in, so I never bother waiting for ideas. That'd be a waste of time. Ideas aren't anything to do with it. The material's all there, you just got to try and carry on. The idea is painting, not having ideas about painting. I mean, you've got the world that surrounds you. My mum and Juju and Kira and Huddy, and I paint the people and the world around me. In many ways, I sort of like to look on myself as amateur in everything I do. The amateur does things for love and belief, not for the mortgage. I don't do things that I don't want to do.
I like the way the music's developed. It started off as something quite basic, but now it's sort of something like it's still basic, but it's just got I don't know, it's just got so sort of expert in its basicness.
Most people can't do it when they're 42 because they're trying to do it on drugs or alcohol, or they're trying to do it as a career. I don't do it as a career, and I don't do it as drugs and alcohol, and I only play when I want to play. The energy I use is the same as when I used to mime in front of the mirror with my toy Beatles guitar. Aren't you going to give us a hand?
You managed to fill it by yourself?
Doesn't have casters. Tracy Emin, my girlfriend in the 80s, was complaining that my paintings and my writing and my music was stuck, and that I was stuck as an individual. What if I damage your sofa? But the main reason being that I didn't want to go to sort of like contemporary art galleries and watch people take cocaine, really, was the reason I was stuck, because I wouldn't agree with a world view that was cool. And Charles latched onto it as a good title for a group of painters.
Stuckism is an art group that Billy, Childish and myself founded in 1999.
Well, there's a feeling in this world that causes unrest. Your ambition and success is what I detest.
It's to advocate contemporary figurative painting and oppose the dominance of conceptual art. We think the main flaw with conceptual art is it doesn't really have any decent concepts to it at all.
You made me die.
Billy left the Stuckist group last June. I think the final straw came when we all had to walk down the road holding paintings above our head for some press photographer. And that isn't Billy's style. It's not Chatham cool to walk down the road holding a painting above your head.
That's why I'm not in the group. I don't like his style. And I don't like the Stuckists.
So you're not a Stuckist?
No, well, there's nobody in the Stuckists apart from Charles who's in the Stuckists for any other reasons. Then it's easy because they think someone might sort out an exhibition, so it's not done through belief. If it's not done through belief, I can't be in it.
Oh, you made me die.
There you are, Gameway.
That's a copy of the first album. That's a Pop Rivets in '77. That's our first show. That's Young Me. I learned to play guitar in a punk rock group, playing a Bo Diddley rhythm. You know, and I sort of like taught myself to paint by looking at Van Gogh paintings and Munch paintings. I mean, what's the point of changing? You know, like you just sort of like you move in and out. You know, so like sometimes I tighten everything up and then I break it down again. You know, you got Van Gogh and people, they don't worry about originality. What they worry about is doing what they do and copying to learn. My local art school wouldn't look at my work even because I'm unqualified. So I ended up only being able to go to the dockyard. And I just did 600 drawings or so, you know, building sketchbooks of the people I was working with. Everything was based on the dockyard in Chatham, or was. Now it's just based on shopping for cheap rubbish.
Where are we?
This is Under the Bogs, the Barbers at Chatham. That's what we call it.
I've never seen anywhere else like it.
Well, no, I suppose not. You know, it doesn't seem strange to me because I've always come here. Old Fred was one of the barbers here and he used to be a painter. I mean, he just obviously saw things that he liked and painted them, you know, enjoyed painting. You know, this is one of the only cultural spaces left in Chatham. I went to St Martin's to be with all of my brothers and sisters who believed, and I'd escaped from the dockyard and all the working class oiks I'd gone to school with who didn't understand these things and weren't sensitive and weren't interested in art, and I went to meet all of the people who where I naturally belong, and walked in there on the first day and realised I was slightly mistaken.
I first met Billy in 1980 at St Martin's. Billy's got a big thing about art school and maybe not sort of fitting in. I think he liked dropping in, but he wasn't there, as it were. He was in a band then, the Milkshakes. Seemed to have other sort of much more interesting things going on elsewhere.
I had to leave. I just couldn't stand it. They painted big abstract expressionist pictures and didn't, well, it wasn't anything to do with what I was interested in at all. Welcome, the night watchman. the floor polisher, the dole queue boy, and the policeman in the rain. Welcome the salesman who never sells, the dentist who hates teeth, the docker without a dock, and the robber of car hubcaps. Welcome lovers who cannot love, lickers of bright green ice lollies, motherless children, and the smashers of car wing mirrors. Welcome acne, toothache, kebab shop owners, used car salesmen, and buyers of second-hand fridges. Welcome the sailor from a faraway...
I don't think artists are special. I don't believe in special people. No, in truth, you see, we're all special, or none of us are special. There isn't any hierarchy of specialness in the world.
Yeah. Who's the man?
I think it's me. It's the River Medway and the cherry blossoms on Jackson's Field. So Chatham would be down here. Which ones are yours?
The avenue of trees, the chap carrying the water.
The avenue of trees. I do an avenue of trees a lot. I like
do you?
avenues of trees, yeah, I'm always painting them. The vines, I do that.
Some people think that is the vines.
Gotta get inside that boy's mind.
Where's the vines?
It's in Rochester. I suppose it's like got like that feeling like there's some Munch pictures with a little road, and there's Van Gogh pictures with little roads. There's always these little roads things. There's this little sketch of it over here. Well, it's not really a sketch, it's just a thing I knocked up. This is an imagination. Honey's coming up. Hello.
I got my jigsaw puzzle.
You got your jigsaw, what have you got?
A to Z.
Sunday isn't just for painting, it's a family day for Billy, his second wife Julie, Kira his ex-girlfriend, and their son Huddy.
Your fingertips.
To have a companion, it would not be possible to have them separate from what I do, you know? It's like a bit of a package deal, isn't it? I do my painting, I do my writing, and there's not a great separation. To the extent that it can drive girlfriends mad.
You awake?
That's a painting from the early 80s. And this would be me and Kira in bed. And this would be me, Sheila and Tracy. I was going out with Tracy, but I married Sheila.
Why was that?
I got on very well with Sheila as a sort of like friend and person I could talk to, and I didn't with Tracy.
I want to go to sleep.
Doesn't bother me.
That must have been a shock for Tracy that she was your girlfriend and you went off and married Sheila.
Yeah, well, I didn't tell her, you see, because I always tell everyone the truth and was very clear about that, which I thought meant I gave me licence to do what I liked, which was another very adolescent attitude. But Tracy didn't like what I used to write about all my painting. She didn't like this sort of like confessional stuff of my work.
I really like Tracy, but she only got into the painting through Billy. You know, she's got right to the top. She's very sort of... She's got the gift of the gab, actually. Yeah.
Where's your photo?
Are you into still life and things like that? Or?
I do a bit of everything. I do portraits of family and friends, and then then make something up, something that's in my head anyway.
Yeah, mine's
I've got a mixture of both, really.
Yeah, mine's just straight off the top of my head, and then I stick it down on paper. If it works, it works. So.
Yeah. I met Kira when she was about 15 when we were playing in Brussels with the Milkshakes, and then a couple of years later she came to live in England, and we lived together for about 12 years. The last time we slept together, Huddy decided that that would be a good time to come into the world. Here's one of Huddy having his bath with his mum. It's someone saying hello, isn't it, I suppose? Huddy, in fact. That's, I don't know. I've got a tooth missing. How old am I? 8 or 9 or 10. I've got my flaming spear. This is one of the handmade guns from the early 70s that we made. And they were made them in my dad's garage. And we had a few accidents with the firing pin working like a bullet. And you know, they'd fire occasionally. When my old man left home, when I was about 6 or 7, there's lots of his paints and brushes, and I used all those, so I started doing oil paints quite early on. Like, if he ever came home, he'd do a fit because we'd ruined his stuff. You know, he'd been there for 3 years, and he'd wonder what had happened to his brushes or something.
Where's the opener?
On the draining board.
Take my shoes off and take them off now. Get it up, posse!
My early work was very graphic and pulled together, and but I think that was because I was alcoholic and drinking so much.
I know he went to the pub, and when he come here on Sunday, they had to get back to go to the pub whenever, you know. But I didn't know he got drunk every night.
I was living out a lot of the things I'd learned off my father, like having multiple girlfriends, drinking large amounts of whiskey and pleasing myself. And I'm thankful to John, my father, who never really learned the lesson about it, but I certainly learned it from him that it isn't a way to live. And I think that is John's gift to me.
Went all over town. Everywhere we went, now the people turned us down in a bourgeois town.
I came to Chichester after my business went into liquidation about 4 years ago, where I spent most of my life being a graphic designer, although I've always been a painter as well. Even when they were very young, I had exhibitions, and it must have had some influence on Billy. A lot of his way of doing things probably comes from me. And I tried very hard before I became more separated from my family to encourage them. But I behaved rather badly and didn't give the time and care and love and attention to them that I should have done. And I spent more and more of my time away from them in London. They were living in Kent at the time. And I possibly drank too much. I travelled a lot. I had all the trappings of success, but I didn't handle it well.
The only time he actually said he loved me was when I was 22 and I beat him up and punched him and he fell down the stairs and was nearly knocked out, and he came around and he said, "I still love you," which I, at that time, thought was a bit late.
I'm not quite sure what his real skill is, apart from, as I say, his writing, particularly in poetry, is, I think, very interesting. I don't know much about his painting.
I'd planned killing him before that, and I had the chance when I beat him up, and I didn't do it, to sort of finish it. And I realised that that enabled me to move on from having very negative thoughts.
Well, tell me, who's that right? John the Revelator. Who's that right? John the Revelator. Who's that right? John the Revelator. Lots of book out for the 7 Seals.
My friend at school wanted to do Kung Fu because Bruce Lee craze at the time, and he needed someone to go with him, so I went along, and I got interested in all the Tai Chi and Taoist stuff when I was about 14.
they say the Spirit of God in every man resides. Now tell me who...
Practiced yoga for the last 10 years or so. I'm very interested in Buddhist and Christian thought, you know, on a humanist level. And I use prayer as well, yeah.
You've done the Van Gogh chair.
That's a fantastic painting, that chair. When he walked over your roof.
He did indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Walked up the A2, which took him to London from Ramsgate.
This is New Road, under the cherry blossoms. That's the one that runs through Chatham. It's funny actually, because that must be the route old Van Gogh took when he walked to London and from Ramsgate. But it's not meant to be Van Gogh walking down there today. So I always thought it's quite funny, imagine him walking through Chatham.
I think going to an excess, which Billy did through drinking, sometimes through sex, through his behaviour with other people, it doesn't make you happy, it makes you very unhappy, and unless you're a complete numbskull, you start to think what has gone wrong. And it can take you very deeply into yourself. You reach experiences that people wouldn't normally arrive at if they led a more balanced and ordered life. So the sinner can become the saint.
And a bit off the top as well. I met Julie in Seattle, poetry reading and a blues show, and we kept in touch for a couple of years, and then we decided to get together.
You want to learn a raisin?
Julie's got black and American Indian blood, and Italian, but also her mum's from Ramsgate, so, you know, who knows. And it's interesting, someone saw this was in an exhibition, and one person said, oh, you're much prettier than he paints you. And another person saw it and said, you can tell he loves you from that painting. So you see, people see anything they like, really. But you have to look and see, rather than just, you know, browse with pictures. I like the way you hang the pictures in here. You know, just all piled up.
Yeah, just poke them anywhere.
Yeah.
You gonna have some up top?
Just blend it in a bit.
Is this nearly finished now?
I think it's finished. Well, you know, finished for the time being, till I had another thought about it. As far as making a career out of anything, I do too much work, you know. I don't have an agent and I don't have a gallery or anything, but that's because I think I don't want them, but I do want them. But I want ones who understand what I do and believe in what I believe. And I don't see myself as some sort of a weird nutter. I see myself doing what's necessary. You know, I think no, I don't think I'm an outsider. And if I am, I don't deserve to be.
The art show's back next Saturday at the earlier time of 8:30. And if you fancy being an artist, find out more at channel4.com/ideasfactory. Coming up next, do you fancy Hugh Grant or Alan Rickman? They are the husband totty on offer in Sense and Sensibility.